I don't think Royal Rumble will be her night at all. I don't really think that does much. There's not been much of a story told so far. I think this is going to go further, perhaps to WrestleMania. I think doing it now would be a little bit underwhelming. I know the phrase for the Royal Rumble is "Remember the Rumble." I just don't think it's going to be remembered for being Bayley's first kind of like women's title like that. I don't think this is going to be the night. You need a bit more of a chase for this, a bit more of a feel-good moment, and those feel-good moments usually come around WrestleMania time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Actually, while we're here, let's just we had a question coming about this match, so we might as well answer this while we're talking about the match, Matt. And this is from Leah. I'm really disappointed with the whole feud between Bayley and Charlotte. It's just like the it's just like the motions, and just not original. Do you think Bayley has a serious enough chance of winning? I'm very doubtful. So, do you think it's that clean cut, Matt, that we're not going to get that moment? I mean, the thing is with me, Matt, the way I'm looking at it is we've got 3 championships here, and like you can only do that sort of big moment, maybe 1 and push 2. And you've got to remember you've got the Royal Rumble at the end of it, so you don't want to give it you don't want to give too many of these moments away because they're sort of WrestleMania type things, aren't they? These payoff things. So John Cena 16 tying out Ric Flair, that's a big deal for me. If Bayley beats Charlotte, first pay-per-view loss, that's a big deal to me. Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, who knows what's going to happen in that? I don't know what the big situation. Maybe if Kevin Owens wins, that's a big deal, but. It seems to me like they can only push a few of these things in one night. That's the way I look at it. Like I would not expect more than two of those out of 4 to happen. So, is it as clean cut as we're all sort of thinking, Matt, and that it is going to possibly go on and Charlotte wins? The thing is with me, every time I've called Charlotte matches, I've kind of got the predictions wrong because WWE have really pushed out on the boat with Charlotte as not only did she didn't even just have to draw against Sasha, that's all she needed. She actually went on and won. What was it, 3-2 in the end in the Iron. So I mean, it's they are definitely putting her over as the big star at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been getting the predictions wrong for the women's title as well. It's been crazy what they've been doing with it, but I think that's a good thing. I think they've kind of seen that a lot of the fans are, they're a bit savvy these days. They know how WWE plays these things, and changing it up is a good thing. So I think with that in mind, seeing as we are all expecting, like this to go one way, I'm guessing for me it is clear cut. It is that Bayley will not lose, or in that she will not win the title on the Royal Rumble. But I guess the change will happen. But then I guess the unique change might be that further down the line, it won't be a one-on-one rematch. Perhaps make it a fatal 4-way, put Nia Jax and Sasha in the mix.
Sure. So that's your prediction there, then, Matt? I take it.
Yeah. I say Charlotte retains by whatever means necessary, probably due to some shenanigans.
Well, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna throw something into the spanner here because I'm gonna say Bayley will win, but she won't win the title. I think she's gonna be hard done by, and I think they might merit that towards WrestleMania because I just don't see where else they could go with another sort of. Like, surely they're not going to go back to Sasha Banks again towards WrestleMania. Like, I think we need to leave that for a while before we get back to that situation. As good as feud and rivalry as that is, like, that should be finished now for a while because that's going to get a bit stale. And there's nobody else really for me, Matt, that can come up and, I know that people say, what about Nia Jax? I get that, but unless it's like, Oscar or something, it's like, for me, there is only one dominant person, so you've got to keep this going, I think, and keep a storyline that's going to cross over into WrestleMania, So that would be my prediction. I think Bayley wins, but I don't think she's going to win the title, and that'll be the sort of big heartbreak of the night. But I think I can see this one, Matt, being like one of those sort of really good matches, and you really want her to do it, but it's just not going to happen, That's what I'm hoping for, anyway. But yeah, these two have the potential to pull off a great match, no doubt about it. And thank you for your question, Leah. Matt, before we go on, you mentioned it there, and I was thinking, where on earth has that catchphrase actually come from? Who come up with that stuff? Remember the Rumble. Like, I mean, do they all sit around a boardroom and they go, right, this is our presentation. Vince is sitting there, and a guy comes along and he says, okay, this is what we've got. This is what we've spent, the last 5 days on. What it's going to be, the slogan for it, and remember the Rumble. And Vince is like, yeah, hire him. It's like, god damn. I mean, it's just such a weird thing. I mean, I don't know where they come up with this, but every time I'm now watching a promo go up, that is the end. They keep saying it. It's driving me absolutely mad because it doesn't really mean anything. I don't know what it's supposed to mean. Remember the Rumble? Yeah, I do remember the Rumble. Unfortunately, last bloody 3 of them. So I certainly don't want to remember it. Let's get away from remembering it. It couldn't have been the worst marketing I've ever seen. Really, it couldn't have got any worse than that for them. But yeah. Let's not remember the last few Rumbles. Of course, Matt, it's worth pointing out this is the 30th annual Royal Rumble. Quite a big feat, really, when you think about it, getting to 30. And, of course, the second time that it is going to be held in San Antonio. And myself and Matt, we went back on the 20 Back series recently that everybody can go back and listen to. It's available right now as we reviewed the entire 1997 Royal Rumble. We had a blast doing it. We had a lot of, shall we say, a Mexican sort of theme towards it as well, Matt, I think. Definitely come out of that at the end.
I agree with that one. That was quite a recurring theme through the Royal Rumble.
So if you want to go back and listen to that and get yourself more in the mood for tonight's Rumble, or even after, whenever you want, stick it on, and you can watch it live along with us. Okay, Matt, let's go to another match now. Then let's move up that card so far, and we're going to go with I'm going to go with Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns first of all, and this of course is there is a stipulation. Chris Jericho will be suspended in a shark cage above the ring. Now, how that has all come about again, I don't know, but obviously they must have liked the idea on NXT TakeOver recently, and they've now adopted it for their main card. It's a stipulation that's sort of more about it's more about an appearance. It's a visual thing, isn't it? It's not really having any impact in the match, really. It's just a visual thing, and I'm guessing it's one of those things where it's more about drama. It's going to be about Jericho feeding from the fans, and that's why it's there, really. It's not something that's going to affect something that's going on in the match. Quite frankly, it's more of a visual for me. What do you make of the feud, Matt? I know we've spoke about this a few times, and there are some eyebrows raised about Roman Reigns, and he's recently lost that title to Jericho, of course, and now that's made it even more worse, isn't it? I mean, in a way, Matt, I'm slightly disappointed that belt didn't stay on Roman Reigns, because for me, if that belt would have stayed on Roman Reigns, I think, and this is just what I think about it, I think Roman would have been slightly more over with the crowd tonight. Like, I'm not saying he's always going to be over with them and all the rest of it, but I do believe that having that title on him, that US title, it just eased him back a bit, and it sort of made the crowd think, hang on, he's actually working for something now. He's got a title that's not the big one, and he looks like he's going to work for it. But now, without that title, Matt, it's like all of a sudden, it's very convenient. He's lost it where he did on the Raws just leading up to this. Not like a big pay-per-view event or anything like that. And, people are starting to get nervous, and it's that time of the year as well, Matt, Royal Rumble, where it seems everything sort of falls into place for Roman Reigns. And, I didn't think WWE were going to, go full steam ahead into WrestleMania with him again. But how many years would that be now? Would that be the third one this would be, Matt, if they did that? And, I've got to be honest with you, like the first one with Brock, that went completely pear-shaped the way they wanted that to turn out, and hence Seth Rollins run out obviously cashed in. And of course, last year, you know, as good as Triple H is, as good as that feud kind of was, to me, that title match was very, very disappointing. It wasn't. You can't really dress it up that much. I mean, it wasn't great. And of course, maybe if Triple H had have won, I'd have maybe enjoyed it a bit more. But he didn't. It was all about sort of cementing Roman Reigns, and yeah, just hasn't happened. And we're at the point now, Matt, where potentially we could be on that course again. Obviously a different route, but it's still very much on the cards. What do you think about this? Because you know, not looking at the odds on this one, from just me looking at it, I'm thinking that Roman Reigns is the clear favourite here. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, you know, like I said, when he's dropped that belt, it does make it more dangerous. You know, I was assuming that as long as they had that on him, that was what they were going to use to keep it happy and like he's achieving something, like you were saying. But now, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it? Because he's dropped the title. It's like they've geared up for something. If he doesn't win, then where does that leave Roman? You know, I'm not exactly quite sure where that will leave him, because he won't be in the title hunt, because he will have just lost his title opportunity. Whether he has to go back and chase the US title, I guess that's a possibility. I think, though, like more than anyone, Owens needs this win. You know, he's looked so bad as champion. He hasn't had any sort of like decent win to make him respected. You know, everything he's done has had a little bit of help. And you know, I'm not saying that he needs it or that's the best way they should be booking him. I think it's the opposite. I think it's done him harm. I think they should have been portraying him as the Kevin Owens we first saw when he came up. You know, he was capable. He was beating people like John Cena on his own merit, and he's more than capable of that. I don't know why they feel the need to make him look like he's weaker than he is. I just think it's damaging his future. So I think hopefully Kevin Owens will win. I mean, the fact that Jericho is up there, I know it's for the comedy element, and it will get the crowd like sort of doing chants regarding Jericho. But you know, all I can hope is that something happens. You know, I'm not saying that Jericho should interfere or bring some foreign object into the cage. Just hopefully, like Kevin Owens can capitalise on a small distraction.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I'm not saying it's all clear cut. It could have the reverse psychology, and they could just be like trying to make it obvious for the more sort of smart fans out there. Maybe that's just for our benefit that he's lost that title, and they're trying to make you get a bit nervous. But again, I wonder about the reaction that's going to happen. I wonder about it just coming across on TV. For me, this has to be. Since Kevin Owens has had that belt, Matt, it's not been great for him. He's not had a clean kind of win that he's needed. This is the one to do it. This is now your moment to stamp it down and get him in a nice position that sets him up to roll into WrestleMania as the champion, you know, and win, lose or draw, he will be much more remembered, about from his reign. It kind of doesn't matter, but he has to win this match to a big degree, because and he has to win it. I'm not saying he has to win it completely clean, because he is the heel, but by beating someone like Roman Reigns would show the fans that the WWE are taking Kevin Owens quite serious if they have him beating their precious gem, who they've wrapped up in cotton wool quite a lot of the time, Roman Reigns. So it's a tough pick. I mean, it really is difficult to call this one, because you just don't know where WWE's mind are with Roman Reigns currently. But you know, I thought they were done with him after what happened with the whole wellness policy last year, and there did seem to be a bit of blowback on him for sure. And I thought that was it, Matt. I mean, I really thought the way they were treating him was going to get him down. And funny enough, when they did treat him like that, the fans started to enjoy him better, because they could see that. But now it's starting to get in that position where, of course, we're going back to where we were, and it's just like it's one of those things about WrestleMania season's upon us, so we have to have the guys falling into the right slots to take those titles in, which would be a huge disappointment, I think, for Kevin Owens. I know that people will say, well, if Kevin Owens loses, he's got that match with Jericho that he could have at WrestleMania. Yeah, of course he has, but he could have that match at WrestleMania for the title I mean, that's the other flip side of it. You know, you could have a great match